We're in Volume 8. Volume 8 of the Bible story. This is my 8th book out of my set of 10, which I have the complete set. And they're just about pristine. They hadn't been open in, I'm saying, for about 50 years. But they've been around here for quite a bit. Ow. Something bit me. Okay. We are at Story 7, Good Deeds on a Good Day. Okay. Again, I'm going to read it. Part 2, Story 7, Good Deeds on a Good Day. The more Jesus talked about his kingdom of love, the more he seemed to get into trouble with the religious leaders of his day. Because he said that loving people and being kind to them is more important than all the rules of conduct anybody ever made. They said he was a rebel. They spread the story that he was against all religion because he was against their kind of religion. And oh, how they watched him to see if he would break another one of their rules. One Sabbath day, Jesus walked through a grain field with his disciples. Being hungry, they plucked some ears of grain, rubbing them with their hands, and ate the kernels. Sabbath breakers, muttered some of the Pharisees who were looking on. To them, this was as bad as harvesting the whole grain field on the Sabbath. Why are you doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath? They demanded. And I'm still hearing this quote that we had in Bible class, but I don't dare to repeat it because it's not good for little ears to hear. Okay, but Jesus was ready for them. Haven't you read about David? He said, reminding them of the time when, fleeing from Saul, David went into the tabernacle and ate the holy showbread, giving some to those who were with him. Sorry, robot. I don't realize I go robot much. Robot voice. Okay. The Pharisees remembered all right, and they didn't know what to say about it. So Jesus said to them, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. This must have shocked them greatly, for it was as if he had said, I made the Sabbath, and I am the one to say how it should be kept. If it had been wrong for the disciples to pluck those ears of grain on the Sabbath, Jesus would have said so. But to him, it wasn't wrong. They weren't working, but getting necessary food in a very simple way. Just as you can eat your breakfast or lunch on the Sabbath today. The same question came up over and over again on another Sabbath as Jesus was speaking in the synagogue. He noticed a poor woman all doubted up for some terrible, oh, wait, all doubled up. Okay. So notice a poor woman all doubled up with some terrible disease. She had been like this for 18 years, and nobody had ever been able to help her. Touching her gently, he said, woman, you are free from your sickness. And at once she stood up straight, her face radiant with joy and gratitude. But the ruler of the synagogue was furious. Turning to the people about him, he said, there are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them, therefore, come and be healed, and not on the Sabbath day. In other words, everything they were getting all blown out of proportion because they didn't think that you should be doing it on Saturday like you do the rest of the week. And since Jesus created Saturday as a rest, he's still going to help them regardless. I mean, one story is that if your ox is stuck in a hole, you got to get him out, even though it's a Saturday or a Sabbath. It's just ugh. It had too much rules, and they still kind of do. Okay, Jesus looked around. You hypocrites, he said sternly. Doth now doeth not each one of you on the Sabbath lose his oxen or his, there's that word, but I ain't gonna say it, donkey from a stall, and lead him away to watering? And ought not this woman, being the daughter of Abraham, whom Satan hath bounded, lo, these 18 years, have loosened from this on the Sabbath day? So, in other words, you go and you feed your riding animal on a Saturday, and that's you consider that work. So, and that's just taking them to water. Um, now, okay, let's get back to the story. And this those who opposed him went ashamed, as well they should have been. But the rest rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him. On yet another Sabbath, when dining in a home of one of the chief Pharisees, Jesus noticed that one of the men present had dropsy. Ha 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 ha. Dropsy. Yeah, that's what the little story is talking about. That I was uh something happened, and then this says right here dropsy. It's about the same what I heard. So he asked the Pharisee and the lawyer who was there, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath?" Now, dropsy. Um, I'm gonna leave it at that. Uh, you can look it up if you want, but it just I don't want to say the words because definitely be blocked because it's very bad. And then here's a picture of Jesus and the disciples in the field getting them something to eat. And that's the illustration. And then of course they're pointing at them and saying, "They ain't supposed to do that." But that's the illustration. Okay, let's turn the page. They didn't answer. This story goes on. So he healed the man on the spot. Then he asked another question. Which of you shall have a donkey or an ox fallen into a pit, and will not straightway pull him out on the Sabbath day? Again, nobody answered. Perhaps Jesus looked all along the row of puzzled, angry faces, as if saying, "Well, how about you? And you? And you?" Of course, they would help their animals on the Sabbath. Some of them had done it many times. Yet they thought it was a sin to heal a poor sick man. How mixed up they all were, really, really mixed up. Of course, it is right to do good on the Sabbath day. As Jesus said time and time again, the Sabbath was made for man, for his good, his happiness, and his welfare, and not man for the Sabbath. And then it has, of course, an illustration of, I guess, him doing what he needs to do. There's the illustration. Nice, pretty watercolor. Okay. And that, of course, is the end of part 2, story 7. So, like always, I'm going to snap the break and I'll be back in just a bit.